Welcome to Color Up. I always like to say that craps is actually a very simple game. These two die, they only create 11 different numbers to bet on. The tricky part comes into there's 36 total combinations, and the amount of bets that you can make at the game of craps, it seems like, well, there are a lot of different bets. So that's what we're going to look at. Today's video is trying to count and see actually how many different ways are there to bet on the game of craps. Let's check it out. All right, first up, we have the most basic bet in craps, the pass line bet. Next, we have the come bet. Now it's the exact same bet, it just happens in the middle of the game when the puck is on, but there's enough of a difference, I think that counts as another bet. Then we can bet the opposite way. We have the don't pass, and we have the don't come. We have the beginner's favorite bet, the old field bet. Next, we can make a place bet on any of the box numbers. So there's another 6 more bets we can make. Now, instead of making a place bet, we can make a buy bet on the numbers. So it's different, but it's similar. You would make a place bet, or at a certain level, you would make it a buy bet. Now on the 4 and 10, you would always want to buy that as soon as they allow you to. It would be better than making a place bet on the 4 and 10. The 5 and 9, you can make a buy bet, but you would only want to make it a buy bet if they collect the VIG only on a win. If they collect the VIG up front, never make a buy bet on the 5 or 9. Now technically you can make a buy bet on the 6 or 8. There is no math. You should never make a buy bet on the 6 and 8. Probably most casinos aren't going to accept the bet. Technically, some places will allow you. You could make a buy bet. Next up, you can make a put bet on all the box numbers. Now, essentially, a put bet is a come bet that you put directly on a number. The problem is you lose the big player advantage of winning with the 7 or 11 on the come out roll. So you skip that advantage, but you get to choose the number you put it on. So it works just like a come bet. It becomes a contract bet. But people do it because you can add odds to it. Now the math breaks down differently. It only makes sense in certain situations when you're playing a lot of odds. Otherwise you would avoid the put bet. But you can make a put bet on all the numbers. So there's another 6 bets. Another situation people use put bets when they're at table maximum. The casino will allow you to make, because it's a different bet. Let's say your place bet is all the way at the table maximum. You can't make any more of a place bet on the 9. Well, you can make a put bet with odds. And again, a whole nother bet that can go up to table max. So essentially doubling the amount of money that you're wagering on the 9. Moving up, you can make a lay bet against all the numbers. Now these are just normally a lay bet. You have to bet enough to win back the table minimum. I'm just using these $5 chips as markers. But a lay bet is you're betting against the number. You're betting that a 7, in this instance, would roll before the 6. So there's another 6 bets or lay bets that you can make. Next up, we have the Hardway bets, or all-day Hardway bets, sometimes they're called. They're not a one-roll bet, even though they're here in the center of the table. They lose with a 7 or an easy way, but we have 4 bets here. Now we have the horn bets. You can bet, these are one roll. The rest of these bets, I believe, are one roll bets. We have the 2, the 3, the 11, or the 12. 4 more bets. Simple bets. You roll just how the picture shows. You got 1 chance at it. Next are bets that start getting into some gray area of how you count them. For instance, we have the any craps bet. That is a bet that the 2, 3, or 12 will roll. So is it a completely different bet? It's basically a combination of 2, 3, and 12. You can make it as a single bet here, or you can make it individually there, but you're betting on the same numbers. So should it be counted? For now, we'll count it, and I'll come back to that a little bit later and show you kind of the payoff differences and why I think it could be a different bet. Now, if you notice these bets over here, the C and the E, these are really, you can bet it either way. It's basically any crap. So the dealer can put it down here, or he could book it here, whichever is convenient for him. Same with the yo or the 11. So he could book the bet here, or he can bet it there for convenience. Next up, we have the any 7 bet. Any 7 rolls, you win that bet. Next up, we have the hop bets. Now, most casinos will accept this bet whether there's a layout for it or there's not a layout. They'll still generally accept a hop bet. It's a one roll bet on a very specific combination of the dice. Now essentially these horn numbers down here, 2, 3, 11, and 12 are hop bets. They're a one-roll bet on a specific combination. There's only one way to roll a 2. The 3, there's 2 ways, 2 different combinations. You can roll the 1-2 or the 2-1, but you can bet it. It's just one bet. Now the hop bets apply to all the numbers. We'll look at the 4 here. You can bet the 3-1 or the 1-3. Either way, either combination, you're going to win with one of those bets. And then you could bet the hard way. It pays a little better, pays 30 to 1. The easy way pays 15 to 1, but we can bet the 4 hopping just like that. And that's the same for the rest of the numbers, the 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. So again, in total, there are 17 different hop bets you can make. Let's get all those marked up. Now let's get back to those bets that I said can be a gray area whether you count them or not. First of all, let's take a look at the horn bet. Now, typically that is bet in increments of $4, and all it is a bet on the 4 horn numbers or extreme numbers. So 1, 2, 3, 4. You're betting all 4 numbers, but for convenience, the dealer could just put it in the middle on the horn. There you go. You got a horn bet. Basically, you're betting on all 4 numbers. Is that a new separate bet? It's just a combination of these other bets. So it's a little bit of a gray area. Another thing that you'll see very common, because that's typically bet in 4, is a horn high bet. So, and that's usually made in increments of $5. So what does that mean? So we have a horn bet covers the 4 numbers, which takes $4. We have an extra $1. Well, what does it go on? It goes on the horn high on whatever you call it. So horn high 3 would be $1 each, and then $2 on the 3. A horn high 12, $1 each, $2 on the 12. That's the horn high bet. Is it a new separate bet, or is it just a combination of other bets? I'll kind of let you decide that. Some tables you'll see a world or a whirl bet. Typically it's a $5 bet because it's the horn bet. You're betting on the 2, 3, 11, and 12, and the any 7 bet. You'll notice these are all the numbers that affect the come out roll. So 7, 11 are winners for the past, 2, 3, and 12 are losers. The world bet or whirl bet covers all those numbers. Is it a new bet, or is it just a combination of the other bets? There are keys to paying off some of these bets that the dealers know, or shortcuts, but essentially it works just like any other bet, as if they were all separated. If we make a world bet and the 12 rolls, we win 30 to 1 for the one winning bet. The other $4 that we're covering the other bets are losers. So we essentially win $26 if the 12 rolled. If the 7 rolls, we would win $4 for the one winning bet. The other $4 that we have bet on the horn would lose. So basically, if a 7 rolls and you have a world bet, it's a push. I believe some of these things are just betting terminology, so they're not necessarily new bets, they're just terminology to help things. For instance, a high-low, it's a bet on the low number, the 2, and the number on the 12. It's a bet on each of them. The high-low could be $2. Some casinos will actually accept a $1 high-low. Essentially, you're betting 50 cents on either one. So should that count as a new bet? I'm not really sure. It's really just a combination bet, right? Here's an interesting one. Sometimes you'll see players make a 3-way craps. So they're basically betting $1 on each of the numbers. They could set up individually. Sometimes the dealers will set it up just like this, $3 on the any craps. Well, what is the difference between a 3-way craps and $3 bet on the any craps? Well, the any craps bet is going to pay 7 to 1. Our $3 bet is going to win $21. Our 3-way craps, if a 2 or 12 rolls, we're going to win $30 minus the 2 losers, or $28. If the 3 rolls, we'd win $15 minus the 2 losers, or $13. So which is a better bet, the $3 any craps or the 3-way craps? Well, it depends if you think the 2 or 12. You'd win 28 here, you'd win 21 here. If the 3 rolls, you'd be better off with the any craps because you're going to win 21 here. With the 3-way craps, you're only going to win 13. So are they different bets? Well, they certainly pay differently, but again, it's the same combination of numbers. So I don't know, that's kind of a gray area, and I'm not sure how to count that one as a bet or not. It's the same situation with the any 7. It's nice if you'd like to make a $1 bet on it, but once you're at a $3 bet, it would be much more beneficial as a player to make that bet as a hopping 7. $3 bet hopping is going to pay 15 minus the 2 losers, or $13. If you just make a $3 any 7 bet, you're going to get paid 4-to-1 or $12. So you're going to be better off in increments of 3 and above making a hot bet on the 7. So I think we could remove the high-low bet. We can remove the world bet, at least for my count. The horn bet, I think I would remove that. I think these are your standard bets of the game. Many of you may have already caught this, but I forgot one. What about the odds bets? That's certainly a new bet. What about the don't pass odds, where you're laying against a number? That would be another bet. Now, depending on what number the puck is on, is that a new bet? It's still an odds bet, whether it's the 10, 9, 8. So I would say that's just one single bet. So right now, to me, it looks like we have 58 bets here, but there are other bets. A lot of tables still have the old big 6 and 8 that you'll see. You would never want to make that. You'd always want to place it. But on some tables, it still exists, the big 6 and 8. What about place to lose bets? Some of you may not even be familiar with that. A place to lose bet is the same as, or not the same, it's the exact opposite of a place to win bet. You're betting, it's very similar to a lay bet, but with the lay bet, you get true odds minus a vig. A place to lose, it's built into the payoff, just as it is with the place bet. Now, there's only certain countries, I think Australia has them. A lot of electronic machines, bubble machines, that sort of thing will have them. I don't believe any standard table in America has a place to lose bet. You would just make a lay bet, but there's a place to lose. There is another 6 bets. Then you run into things like side bets, and there are so many of them I can't keep track of, right? There's the fire bet. I guess that would be essentially 1 bet. You've got the all tall small bet, which is very popular. You could bet on the small numbers, the tall numbers, or all the numbers, right? 3 different bets. You've got the repeater bet on some tables, so that could be another 10 bets. There's all kinds of additional side bets. You might see a fielder's choice bet, which divides the field up into another 3 bets. Sometimes you'll see an over under the 7 bet, ride the line bet. There's just so many of different side bets. Again, the count just becomes very difficult to make. Here's a whole nother category of bets, dealer bets, right? So any bet that you make, you can also bet for the dealer. So you could bet next to your pass line. You can make a bet for the dealer as a place bet. You can bet as a field bet. You could piggyback your bet, or commonly known as player control the bet. But I don't know if you would count those as new and separate bets. They are different bets you can make, but they're on all the existing bets. So another gray area, right? Do dealer bets counts as new bets? I mean, it is another bet. So there you go. I tried my best to count the number of bets you can make at the game of craps. It's just a very complex subject. So if there's anything I left out, go ahead and let me know down in the comments. Maybe there's something I kind of overlooked, but I think I covered everything. But again, it's complicated. There is no perfect answer because there's so much gray area. But again, that is why I love the game of craps. Only 11 numbers, only 36 combinations, but there are so many different ways to approach this game. Try to beat the odds and color up by making any amount of these bets. So again, I hope you had a good time with this video. It's certainly fun to think about and take a look at. Until next time, good luck on coloring up.